Yeah, well, I do comedy, I write it and I perform, and the purpose of a comedian is not to make people laugh, because you can't make them laugh, that's a result. You can only share your opinion, and you can structure it in a comedic way, because there is a writing structure to it. Now, if the people don't laugh, that means they have different tastes, so there's no such thing as right or wrong when it comes to personal taste, ever. And then if you adapt that mentality, like you like certain things just like you like a certain color, then you're never going to feel apologetic or regretful because someone doesn't laugh at your joke, you know? As long as you're amused, then you're being honest.
I think that's great what he was talking about, because it's real, it's a lot easier to get butthurt during the day from a girl. Like, oh, I gotta take this shit. People saw me, right? At nighttime, you don't get as butthurt for some reason. So, yeah, work on the things that you want to work on, right? Like I was saying. And then second, depending on the venue that you choose. If I'm out in downtown LA, I might work the lunchtime crowd. Because if I'm walking around 10 o'clock, right? Women are going to be in the offices working. So yeah, I'm going to be walking around for a long time before I run into a hot girl. But if it's the lunch crowd, it's a little easier. But if I pick a college campus, right, it's going to be more target rich. Or if I pick a mall, well, guess what? There's girls working inside the stores, and some of them are pretty good looking, right? So now it's like, okay, I can work on my hired gun game. Or, you know what, they have to talk to me, so I'm going to try to, be funny. I'm going to try to be witty. So there's always something there that you can work on.
Cool. Hired gun game, is that just to improve your own social skills, or are you actually hoping to get results out of that too?
No, I like hired gun game as well. Like I'll walk in, because sometimes my job requires me to travel around the city. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll just Google a mall, and there's not going to be anybody on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock. It's going to be empty. And then if you wait so long, then it's like 4 or 5, and you get the little teeny boppers, right? No point in gaming them. So what do you have? What's at your disposal? The girls at the kiosk, right? The girls working inside, what was it, BB, or Ever 21, or Victoria's Secrets, or Aldo. You have all these potential targets. Now, you have a little more time with them during the middle of the week. I wouldn't do hired gun game on a Saturday afternoon when it's crowded, because they have a job to do. They're not going to say, cute guy. Spend my time talking to him and then collect the customers.
Yeah.
So
when it's really dead, that's the best time to hire gun.
Yeah, exactly. And
They're also really good at filling the gap between actual sets of just random shoppers, because, I mean, yeah, like Ozzie said, they have to be nice to you, so you have more of a margin to test the limits and, crack jokes or say things that are a little bit, risky, and they'll have fun. They're at work, so it's kind of monotonous for them anyway, so make it a little interesting.
Same concept applies. If they're counting the money at the register, I would wait. Yeah. If they're talking to their supervisor, manager right there, and they're working out their time shifts or time pages, whatever it's called, I would wait. But if she's standing there folding the same clothes like 3 times in a row because she's bored, then it's a perfect opportunity to go in there and game her, start a conversation, or whatever you want to work on. Cool. In that sense. So there's always options during the day. It's a lot slower than night game, because in night game, you got this core of hot girls congregating in one venue. During the day, people are moving around more. So you are going to have a slightly more downtime during the day, but there's always out. You shouldn't be walking around for like an hour and a half not talking to anybody. Right. That's just, you're just reaffirming your quietness, your shyness by doing that. And it's going to be a lot more difficult to transition out of that, because then you have to get into state. Sure. You have to get talkative again, get energetic and stuff like that. So.
Do you have specific openers you use during the day that are effective? Because I find that I usually just kind of go situational when I do, and then if there's not actually a good situation, I just probably won't approach. So I feel like I need to have a good one, kind of like a go-to when there isn't.
That's the downside to situational. Like situational is great because it's kind of under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to do when there's something there, right? If you're at a bookstore and she's looking at your travel book,
Yeah.
hey, I'm looking to travel, would you recommend that book? As long as it's not a quick open-ended question, what book would you recommend? They'll open, but the downside to the situation is your follow-ups. Like you
Yeah.
really have to be good with the follow-up, because if not, it's not gonna go anywhere. So you really have to understand how to lead the conversation. So, and improvise, because it's really off the top of the head. So it's a much more advanced type of gaming, in my opinion. I like to go direct. Like I said, certain situations I will go indirect, like it's a mother-daughter or it's a family type of scenario. But direct works best for me. So I would go direct. Or what a lot of guys do, and I've seen it be very effective, is they'll start off situational or indirect, and they'll immediately switch it to direct. So they'll say something like, hey, do you know where the Starbucks is? Actually, I just wanted to stop and say, I think you're really great, and I want to talk to you. Hi, my name is, transition into that. So you can give that a shot. I don't know specifically what you're saying in your situational openers and how you're following it up. It might be that you're seeing something, and then you're getting her into a logical state. Like, oh, so why are you reading that book?
Yeah.
Is that book getting good? How many books do you buy a day?
Yeah.
Then it's like, you just kind of killed your momentum that you had. So I would say ease off the situational flow of it if it's not giving you optimal results, and maybe try like direct or maybe an indirect type of situation. Now the only thing I caution with indirect is it might take you a little time to get to the questions that I gave you guys earlier, with like, oh, so what are you up to today? What's your story? When's your out?
Yeah.
Because by the time you're done with your stack, she might be moving on. So you just kind of have to be situationally aware of what's going on when you're going indirect. Because if she's at a bus stop, by the time you're, hey, quick question, who lies more? By the time you're done, and the bus is there, well, you really didn't accomplish anything. So
It seems like direct, they're very aware, like, all right, this guy is hitting on me, but like, that's kind of what you want to some extent, because it's like, well, you're,
yeah,
kind of not confrontational, but.
I mean, every girl likes a compliment.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I go direct during the day more than I do at nighttime, like at nighttime I cut the direct down a little bit more. I have more of a teaseful, kind of playful type of opener.
Mhm.
But during the day, it's higher percentage going direct than it is at nighttime. They're both effective,
Yeah.
but it's higher percentage during the day. Now the reason this is because at nighttime, you walk up to a girl, she dolled herself up, right? So you know she's looking good.
Yeah.
She's got her tits pushed up, her ass is hanging out, and you might be like the sixth guy who walked up to her, hey, you look absolutely beautiful tonight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like water off a duck's back. She's like, oh, yeah, thank you, right?
Yeah.
But during the day, chances are nobody's talked to her the whole day. She might not have even been complimented within like the last week. So direct game is higher percentage just because of that, and the ability to come off more sincere, more genuine, kind of ups the percentage on that. So my personal opinion, you try going direct during the day. If you can't transition out of the situational, and then kind of save the situational for later on as you progress. So, anything else?
Just what's your take on having wings when you do digging?
Wings?
Yeah.
As far as having him come in?
No, just like, do you find it necessary?
No, because at this point, earlier on, yes, just because I can bounce ideas off each other, like, oh, what do you think I did wrong? Right? Was my body language okay? Was I standing up straight? Was I leaning? Was I not looking right? You can get feedback from that.
Sure.
So as long as he knows what to look for, if it's like a completely new guy, but might not be the best scenario. So yes, a wingman in that sense can be great, but sometimes also you have to be very selective of who you pick, because if you pick a guy who's worse than you, and I'm not just talking about game-wise, but he's quieter, he's more shy, he's more nervous, he's more fidgety, that's gonna kind of rub off on you. All of a sudden he's not approaching, and that kind of drags you down as well. Like, oh, he's not approaching now. It's like, oh,
Right.
I'm reading, go. I'm not gonna go. So either find somebody who's at the same level as you are, or get somebody who's better than you. So, and that's gonna be kind of tough, is finding somebody who's better than you so you can bounce ideas off and kind of get feedback from. But is it necessary? I don't think so. I mean, I game by myself all the time. Like I said, if you feel like you need to get into state, you need to work on something when you're not getting because talking to girls isn't gonna fix the holes that you have in your regular day-to-day personality or your lifestyle. So, if you have a wing, that's great. If you don't, it's not important. Totally depends on who you are.
Right.
So, but if you can get like group of 5 guys that are solid, yeah, why not? Kind of like hitting the gym, you know? You don't need you don't need to go to the gym with the guy, right? You can lift the weights by yourself.
You gotta admit, like at least for me, like it does help a lot. Like
Yeah.
just the times I remember when I have a gym buddy, it just helps. Like I have to drop my ego for a second and stop thinking that, oh, I've mastered this. Like I was able to go to the gym by myself 3 weeks in a row, so now I don't need it. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm only human.
Yeah.
So sometimes for me it's like that, and like without a wing I do feel it. Like even though
Okay.
I've had some great times doing it alone, and I've had some really bad times with a wing, like just sometimes. Like,
Well, you always kind of have to mix it up. For me, I don't really use a wing because, like I said, cause I'm always bouncing around.
sure.
Don't get complacent, especially during the daytime, because it's real easy to say, oh, this one direct opener is opening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm gonna use. Then you become very one-dimensional, and that's it. You don't get any feedback from the girl. You don't get any other experiences that will allow you to grow into something
Right.
better.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely. If you feel like you need a wingman, that's great. But you shouldn't at the same time think like, hey, I've gone out gaming by myself. I don't need anybody anymore. At the same time, you gotta
Definitely.
Yeah,
Stay humble.
if you have standards for a wingman, then that's usually preferred, because I mean there's been some people who just don't have the motivation. Same as, you know, having certain people at the gym that you feel like you're just dragging a dead corpse around, you know, and telling them to do reps. But if like I'm not able to find a legitimate wing for a while, like my buddy who I normally wings with me is in Boston now. He you know, I would say use the forums and use field reports for what they're meant to be, and that's just basically a confession of mistakes. You know, some guys obviously boast, you know, and crap like that, but I mean, the whole point of them originally was to list mistakes that are made and get third-party feedback.
That's key right there. Is if you're going home and you don't have any mistakes and you did something wrong, right? Either A, you don't want to admit that you made mistakes, or 2, you're not pushing it enough, right? You're not trying new things. You're not putting yourself in situations that are forcing you to be outside your comfort zone, right? If you were like, oh, you know, I opened okay, I did all right. It's great to go home and write down the stuff that you did right, that you did correct. That's fine. But you also have to write down the stuff that you did wrong. And there should be a lot of things that you did wrong. Like, oh man, my story, well, it wasn't that good. The punchline didn't hit. Like, oh, like I didn't stop it quick enough. You know, I let her get past me. And like, oh, I hesitated on this one chick, and I think she saw me. There should be consistent mistakes in the very beginning. Because if you're not making those mistakes, you're not writing them down, then you're not doing something right.
Yeah, that's very key, and I see that done so much. Like, just from in the last year of hosting these events, the number of people I run into who have too much pride to admit to their mistakes. I mean, I don't know anyone who's learned any kind of skill, any kind, not just pickup, but any skill, and mastered it the first time around. So there are mistakes. There's just egos that get in the way.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. You're not going to get every girl out there. You know, I'm sure if I ask you, oh, what's your type? You're going to have a specific type of girl that you like, or a couple of specific type of girls that you like. If I ask you, you're going to have a specific type, right? If I ask you, you're going to have a specific type. Now, it's pretty unfair to assume that the chick that you're walking up to, that you're her type. You don't know, right? Sometimes you're going to run into a girl where she's never, what's your nationality?
Indian.
She might have never dated an Indian guy,
Mhm.
so she's like, oh, this is new to me. Or she might have, and she might not just be into it, and that's fine. You know, that's
But
perfect.
how do you know that she's rejecting you because you're not her type or because you made a mistake?
Chances are, you probably made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, chances are you probably made a
Yeah.
mistake. Because a lot of times,
I don't think you should ever let your like ethnicity hold you back, because like it's funny. I've noticed this, just like, I mean, I'm assuming you're also like a minority too, so
Yeah.
like when you just you're sometimes aware of the racial differences when it's like guys talking to each other, but I swear to God, like when a man and woman are having that connection, it there's something bigger than that going on. So you forget about that social conditioning of religion, race,
Yeah.
economic status. Like if your game's good, or if you're feeling the vibe.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like-
religions,
All those-
economical status,
yeah.
I think that comes into play when it starts transitioning from like dating to a serious relationship.
Sure.
I think that's when that comes into play. But
Right.
in the beginning, the times that I have seen working with a lot of Asians and minorities, that I have seen it be a factor, she'll just be like, oh, she'll just have this like, okay, and then walk away. It'll be like a significant no.
No, wow.
Yeah, like a no. You know, I've had students where they walk up and say, oh, I don't date Asian guys. And that's it. That's fine. You know, you got tons of women who do date Asian guys. You have tons of women who haven't dated, and you have the ability to be that first person, influence them, and then make it easier for everybody else who comes behind you. So, like I said, it's you really got to check the ego. You're gonna make mistakes. Every girl is not gonna open, not gonna get every number. But at the same time, as you're logging your progress, you should see something that's consistent. Okay, you know, I'm starting off like, all right, at least I'm getting one number out of like 30 girls. Then, you know, 2 months later, 3 months later, oh, okay, I'm getting, you know, one girl out of every 20 numbers, one girl out of every 15 numbers. Like, okay, now, you know, my stories are progressing. I'm making every girl that I have the interaction with, even though I'm not getting the number, they're all laughing, right? So you start to kind of progress your game like that.
There's also the aspect of, I mean, dating's a pretty big goal if you think about it, when you're talking about women that you just have a conversation with. So a lot of them, you know, I'll just be friends with. Kumar and I hung out, what was it, Wednesday night?
Yeah.
And my friends Michelle and Julia came out. You know, I've never thought of crossing the line with them, but you know, we hang out time to time, and it makes a world of difference when you have more female friends in your life, because your perspective changes. So.
Yeah. So like I said, also, I mean, if you got serious issues in your life, women aren't gonna fix that. If you ain't got no job, no car, you live in mom's basement, then, you know, going out there and talking to women during the day, it's not gonna change that. It's not gonna fix it, right? We have to kind of fix ourselves and acknowledge what's going on with us, and then that transition like will help with everything in life, not just women, you know, career-wise, social-wise, everything. So how are we doing on time?
You still have what time is it now?
It's up to-
Yeah, you still got, what, 15, 30 minutes if you want?
Okay, so
Fine.
talk for like another 5 and do some exercises.
All right.
Is there any other questions real quick on obstacles? Any kind of obstacles that you run into, like mentally, either, right? Well,
Let's talk about if the boyfriend's there or he walks in to the picture.
boyfriends. Well, it depends. Depends what kind of relationship they have. You know, they're.
Yeah.
See, like I'm
Very
saying, like
true.
I'm not saying this because you know I'm being cocky or arrogant. It's just after you do enough reps, like certain things don't surprise you anymore. Certain things are like, oh, okay, you know, there's people out there who, even though they're married, they're still out there with other people, you know, or you know, people who share each other. You never know. Never. That's why I always say be a detective. Be a detective. If the boyfriend walks in and hey, what's up? Cool. I was just talking to her about this. You don't say like, hey, what's up, man? Sorry, I was hitting on your girlfriend. Like, no disrespect. You know, he doesn't know that. As far as he's concerned, it's a general conversation, right? This is day game. It's not night game. Nighttime maybe because you're getting closer. Your arm might be around her already. She's whispering in your ear. That body language right there is no different. So if the boyfriend comes in at that time, like, oh, okay, maybe he can perceive something that's not really there, but during the day, you're having a conversation like this with somebody, right? You're not, your arms aren't around them. You're not escalating. You're not whispering in their ear. So he comes in and, hey, what's up? I was just talking to her about this. And then you start talking. You know, find out where they're at in the relationship. Hey, how do you guys know each other, right? Everybody knows that line from the community. Turn to the girl, how do you guys know each other? And take it from there. So don't ever think that because something happens, you have to, like I was saying, acknowledge that. She's on the phone, oh, I gotta acknowledge the phone. No, she's eating, I have to know. No. Boyfriend's there, oh, I have to know. Mother's there, and that stuff, you know, because then you get into a bad habit of giving reasons for you to approach and talk to them. Just go out there and talk. You know, you're a guy, go after what you want. So boyfriend, girlfriend, I mean, you never know. I had that scenario too. So let's set up a chair. So just do some exercises.
Yeah, there's 2 chairs behind you. I don't know. Like this is the gap we have as far
Yeah,
as.
that's fine. So
Right.
what I want to work on is I'm gonna pretend I'm a hot girl for tonight, and I'm gonna have you guys over there, and we're gonna this is about 15 feet, and you guys are gonna stop me and run your openers, right? So you get that distancing. Remember, the common mistake that happens is guys will open when the chick is right here. Hey, quick question. Hey, you're absolutely beautiful. Hey, you see the guy joining his plates?
We could possibly pretend the center right where you were. Step over it. I'll show you where your line is. A little bit more. Like in the middle of that doorway. So there to just the beginning of the television is what the space we have. So if we can get it in the within that shot, then
Okay.
it'll show
Yeah,
the
that's
full
fine.
exercise. We'll just pretend that's 15 feet.
If everybody's cool, I don't know if they're cool with being on camera or, you know, that's
Yeah, if you guys don't want to volunteer, I don't care.
volunteer or
Doesn't bother me.
doesn't bother you, just okay. I don't want anybody, you know, working for the feds or something.
We'll give you guys a porn star name if it makes you feel comfortable. You know.
Perfect.
Okay, so who wants to go first then?
Sure.
So remember, we're gonna use a physical gesture
Okay.
and we're gonna verbally open, right?
Yeah.
So, go.
Hi, excuse me. You're really cute. I just had to come over and say hi.
Oh, awesome, hi. Alright, now, when I say physical gesture, we're kind of like a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Like he almost came at me like a cop.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, that's a little too much. You know, be a little more playful.
Where you're at right now is the line of sight. So we just will simulate that it's actually shorter. So from the television to where he was at, like starting out of screen, I didn't catch anything that you saw as far as like the gesture or whatever. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I start from here.
a little bit further this
Yeah.
way. Now I can see you.
Hi. You're really cute. I just had to come over and say hi.
Hi, awesome. My name is Jeanette.
Kumar.
Nice. Alright, one thing that I also want to state is when you're out there, the only variable that you're in control of is yourself, right? You can't control anything else that's external. So what I find is when I open, I like to stay off that slight, maybe like a foot away, and then do this. What started happening to me is I would do this, and either I would time it wrong in the beginning, or she really is not paying attention to what's going on. And then when you run into this situation, right? And then afterwards, after that happens, it's kind of odd to look at her, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, it's so beautiful, right? After that interaction.
So you said come off to the side a little bit like this?
Yeah, a little bit off
Okay.
to the side.
Yeah.
Not directly in front of me. Just because that's what I found doing it enough times. I hate that them dancing around. It just kind of kills the vibe right off the bat.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Hi. You're really cute. I just had to say hi.
awesome. That's getting better. Just make sure it's just a quick hand gesture.
Mhm.
You're like taking it down.
Okay,
Yeah,
like this. Right.
So,
One more time?
Yeah.
Alright. Hi. You're gorgeous. I have to say hi to you.
awesome. See, if it's done right, usually it's going to end up like this. Worst case scenario,
Yep.
person takes like 2 more steps, you're still here. What we want to avoid is where you're there, and I'm over here like this, because she's gonna say, "Oh, hey, thank you," and then she's gonna walk away.
Okay.
So, anybody else want to try it?
Sure. Alright, go for it.
Okay. Okay, rock, paper, scissors.
Hey, how are ya?
I'm good.
Nice to meet you, I'm Zach.
All right, awesome, Zach. Now, here's the thing with hi, how are you?
Yeah.
It's very simple. You're not gonna really get somebody to engage, a stranger to engage with you during dating when you say that, and it's kind of going for a compliance test
Yeah.
with her, and she's not invested enough in you to actually comply and get the conversation going. Now, if you're absolutely her type, like she dates guys that look just like you and she's always dated guys like you, then yeah, then it'll open, right? Because you're already in her dating reference.
Yeah.
But if you're just like a guy that doesn't know her and she might not date like, you know, white guys, or then she's gonna be like, huh? She's gonna walk away. So I would advise, you know, have some kind of opener.
Okay.
Either direct, indirect.
Like, hey, saw you coming towards me, want to say hello?
Yeah, you don't have to acknowledge it towards you. Just like, hey, I saw you absolutely love your style. You know, I just say hello, hi, my name is.
Okay, that's good. Hey, like your style, I just want to say hello.
All right, awesome. You remember the hand gesture?
Yeah.
When you open and you're complimenting her style,
Uh-huh.
you don't want to open her and then eye her up and down. Right, which is
Yeah.
what you were doing. Like, you eyed me up and down just a little too much. You had 15 feet, 20 feet. She knows you saw her
Yeah.
before she came around the corner, right? So if you're opening and you're complimenting her style and then you're checking, it's not gonna work.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Hey, I like your style, want to say hello.
Hello. All right. Just make it a little more visible
Okay.
because it looked like you were holding an imaginary cup.
Okay. Hey, I like your style, want to say hello.
Hey, how you doing? Distancing is fine. Obviously, we're working with a smaller distance.
Yeah.
I mean, fundamentally, you know, smiling, more eye contact, and
Okay.
happier tonality.
Yeah.
It sounds a little stiff and robotic. Like
Okay.
that. So we can work on that off camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I just had to tell you, you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. I mean, I can tell you've done this already, so pretty good.
The touch, as far as that's concerned, like,
That totally depends on you. I don't touch in the very beginning. I touch once the interaction's begun.
sure.
Just because, like I said, if she has a purse on this side and then she has a, you know, Victoria's Secret bag on this side, I find that when I go back and look at my numbers, I've had more success opening and then touching afterwards. I know some guys will walk up and then they'll touch on the shoulder,
Sure.
stuff like that. That's fine. Really, what works for you. Like I said, there's no concrete rule. There's just conditions. So obviously, you want Kino, cool, and everything, but that's totally up to you. Like I don't.
I'll try one time without Kino, because I kind of just do that all the time. It's like that. Hey, I just had to tell you, you're absolutely gorgeous.
Awesome.
Are you ready to shake my hand? Perfect. Cool.
So
What about poking her belly or squeezing her love handles? Is that good, Kino?
yes.
Can I see you do it with, like, someone else be the girl and just to see what it looks like, done right, you know?
Once we go.
So I'm just gonna be on my way, or?
Yeah, just walk. Hey, I saw you walking by and I thought you were absolutely gorgeous. Hi, my name is.
Hey.
Awesome. But then I do a little thing that I don't want to share on camera that really tells me if I'm in or not. So
Okay.
I'll show you guys that afterwards. And that'll be, it's my secret technique.
Gotcha.
Alright,
It's the chloroform.
yeah. So any other questions? Just,
So now instead of walking, if it's stationary, what's the situation
if
there?
stationary, remember, what I like to do is 45-degree angles.
Okay.
Right, so if she's standing here, maybe smoking, right, smoking, I just like to approach from a 45-degree angle. Because I find that, once again, this is based on my perspective, like if you're a little small Asian guy and it's not threatening, you just come up to anybody, you know, 'cause you're a small Asian guy. But if you're like a 6'5" black dude that's ripped, it's gonna be a little too much, like coming straight at somebody. So I like to play it safe and just come in at 45-degree angles.
So if you see her from behind, you kind of like go around her then, and then come in from 45 degree?
Yeah, if I didn't bring an eraser. But yeah, say she's,
You want to use this?
I think I do it. Just saggy.
Okay.
She's walking this way, and then you're over here.
Such an artist.
I know. And a baseball cap. Yeah, what I like to do is maybe catch up, take a couple of steps, and then turn around, open over her shoulder. And same thing, you walk past, because when you guys end up talking, you end up back into that same space. A lot of guys are just like, bam, right there, and then she's walking, it's not too much. So I like to walk past the door and then turn around. So yeah, there's those scenarios. She's walking away from you. Obviously, she's walking towards you is what we covered. That's the only thing you're gonna run in during begging. She's either gonna be stationary or she's gonna be moving. So either she's standing up against the wall, standing up against bookshelves, standing waiting for the bus, or she's gonna be sitting, right? Sitting on a chair, sitting on a lawn, sitting on a table, or she's gonna be walking. And that's it. I mean, if you could really understand the dynamics of approaching those scenarios, that's it. Clubbing is a little different because where she's dancing, where she's at the bar, sitting at a table.
Where she's being pushed in a stroller.
Yeah.
If she's just a quick question, she's walking opposite direction, you're behind her, and you were kind of showing that.
Yeah.
If she's kind of, sometimes hot chicks when they're alone, they're just pacing so fast. Like I don't know how the hell they do it.
Yeah.
What do you feel is the best thing for you to do? Do you feel awkward about just jogging after her, running if you have to?
I don't like running.
Uh-huh.
I really, it's hot. I end up sweating.
Right.
I personally don't like running. I've seen guys do it. They'll run up and then that's fine. At that point though, I think it's kind of obvious to her, so it's kind of pointless to like run up and like, hey, you know where Starbucks is at?
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Sure. I used to do the run up thing, just do, like the way Sasha and all them do it. Just run up right behind her and just be like, I'm very direct about it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it works. I don't do it. I'll walk fast.
Walk fast as you can.
Walk fast, but if she's like halfway down the block, then
Sure.
there's more girls,
There's
no, it's not incorrect, but I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just walk a little faster than that. I like when they're coming towards me. I really do, because also I find that it's what I call like the factor.
Mm-hmm.
When she's walking away, like you catch up and turn around, and then you go right? Because from behind she was like nice, curvy, but then turn around she's like 55. She's good. In that case, then like, hey, I want to see, I like your outfit, bye.
Right.
You take off, so I like to kind of just see them. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, no real rules, just conditions.
Definitely. I feel like in that, the reason why I asked that question is maybe because I wait so long sometimes to approach. I just get like those bitch butterflies that she's already walking all the way down there till I finally man up, and that's what I have to do. Like when it is that perfect scenario like you described, where you see her face, you're in the 15-foot. I'll like walk past her and I'll just blow it. Like I won't approach. So it's like the instantaneous like habitual reaction to do it. I still haven't mastered that yet. It has to be a conscious decision every time I approach.
Well, it could be a couple of things, right? If you're hesitating, it's maybe because you're kind of reaction based. Like, oh, what's she gonna react to? Like, what do I do if she does this? Right? You kind of get in your head. So you just don't have a stack long enough, right? So I've seen this with guys. They're like, hot girl, I'm like, because they don't have an opener.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your opener? Well, I guess I could go direct. I go indirect. You already have to have that going, right? What I recommend is, technology today, everybody has something they can record themselves on, right? Your phone, your computer with the webcam, your laptop. When you're at home, work on your stack and record yourself, right? So it's like, okay, you wake up in the morning, you're groggy, you got that crust in your eye, a little, spit on the side. Walk up to your camcorder and then rehearse your routine 2 or 3 times. Because if you're able to somewhat get it right when you're half asleep, then when you're out there in the real world and you're ready to go, it should be a lot easier. So a lot of guys don't take the time to put in the work at home. They expect somehow to go out there during the day, stop her, get her to acknowledge them, and then magically it'll flow into something nice, right? It's like, oh, we connected, we just talked about it. It really doesn't happen that way. It can sometimes, but as a guy, you kind of have to lead the interaction up to a certain point before she actually starts kind of giving you some feedback. So at home, if you're finding yourself that you're hesitating, it could be AA, but it could be that you're just not, you don't have your stack ready, you haven't practiced it enough. Because it's kind of, the way I see it is when you're out there during the day, it's like the Super Bowl, right? You have the potential to meet that girl of your dream, that you're gonna marry, that you're gonna have kids, or whatever it may be, whatever your goal is. That potential is out there. So you don't see football players just walking out to the Super Bowl game and catching balls and running and making plays and tackling people. No, during practice, they're practicing their tosses, right? Their catches, their plays, how to tackle each other. So when they're actually out there in the field, it's just secondary. And the same process, happens at home when you're trying to get good with women. You're not out there trying to like fumble around. It's kind of like going to the NBA Finals and you don't know how to shoot a free throw.
Right.
And what's the point? What's the point? It's like, you can't dribble the ball. Well, what's the point? You're just wasting your time. You're just letting an opportunity walk past you. So at home, you should have all that. Okay, this is my stack that I'm working on today. So I'm BT her. This is my comfort, any questions, stuff like that. So when you're out there, then you can get more feedback from her. Like, oh, you shouldn't laugh at that joke. Like, oh, that story really didn't catch your attention. And you make progress that way. Because if you're just out there and you're like, what do you do now? Man, it's a waste of time. Yeah, it really is. When
You combine that rehearsal with improv. I've taught a few classes here, and the nights that Kumar came, when he went out afterwards, like he was on point. I mean, you were taking chances.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I remember one set you were in for like 15 minutes. I thought you had left the venue, but it was. I mean, improv, is the only form of acting that isn't rehearsed. So it's, you're even if you're doing some of the improv games that are just ridiculous, they'll teach you to adapt really, really quickly. And there's something funny about where you're making a fool of yourself in all these improv exercises. You don't really feel as sensitive about negative reactions when you go out afterwards. It's something hard to describe. But yeah, once you try it a few times, it can lead to some really good nights.
Yeah. So enjoy the negative reactions, because they're gonna happen. They're always gonna be there. I mean, no matter how good you are, you can be the best guy in the world. Chances are, pretty much still getting rejected. It just means that you've probably made more mistakes and learned from them than a regular guy. But there's still gonna be rejection. So that would be
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Hananger.